One of the most important questions you're going to get asked in every interview you have for the rest of your life is, why do you want to work here? And that's no different at Goldman Sachs. If you're not able to articulate a compelling reason as to why you should be hired by them and why you want to work there, you will not get hired. In today's video, I'm going to give you 3 great ways to answer this question so you can elevate yourself above other candidates. Now, this is video 3 of a 4-part video series, so if this is the first video you're seeing, make sure you go back and watch videos 1 and 2, or go to the playlist and watch them all, and stay to the very end here because I will tee up the last and final video right on the screen right here. All right, let's get started. Now, first things first, why is this important? Well, this is really important because this is about passion. This is about you aligning yourself with the organization as a great fit for the company. And if you're in a close race with other candidates, and if it's Goldman Sachs, you probably will be because it's a great place to work, well, you're going to need every single edge you can give yourself. So it's really important to have a great answer here. This is the type of question that can be used as a tie break. If you've got 2 equal candidates, but somebody gives a really compelling reason as to why they're so interested in this company and in this role, and another candidate just fails to do so, this could be what pushes that one candidate over the edge. Now, whenever you're answering this question, you want to use the 50-50 rule. Now, the 50-50 rule states that the first 50% of your answer needs to be about the organization. What is it about the organization that is compelling to you? What draws you to Goldman Sachs? The second 50% of your answer, well, that needs to be about why the job is a great fit for you now. You're not doing a good job answering this interview question if you don't say, this is why I want to be for the company, and this is why I'm a great fit for the role. But when you accomplish both of those things, when you answer this question, well, you nail it. Now, the first answer that you can use is, I call it the 155 years of excellence answer. Now, they've been around for 155 years. That is a long time. They have done a ton in that time to reinvent themselves, to stay relevant, and to be an industry leader. I mean, think about it. To last that long as a company and to find themselves where they are today as a clear leader in the industry, it's quite impressive. So that can be something that you use as a foundation of the first 50% of your answer. So an answer might sound a little bit like this. Hey, Ben, why do you want to work for Goldman Sachs? Well, that's a really great question. There's a lot of things that I admire about Goldman Sachs, but one of the things that I keep coming back to is just the long history of quality and leadership in the industry that Goldman Sachs have. Being around for 155 years and still existing today as an industry leader that's leading in technology and offering, and the way they're just leading in terms of how an organization contributes to society is quite compelling to me. Additionally, I feel like I'd be a really good fit because the last 5 years of my career, I've spent it specifically doing A, B, and C. And then you go on to tell them why you'd be a good fit for their role. But what you're doing here is just basically talking about why they are a great company and a leader in the space. Now, if you're doing your research for this interview and there's other things you want to mention, feel free to incorporate that into your answer to make it more authentic and to make it more you. All right, let's go to the next one. Now, the next answer is the community commitment answer. And this is a great answer because since 2008, Goldman Sachs has actually contributed $3.5 billion to different communities and small businesses to build opportunity. So that's quite impressive. And I can, in my personal opinion, I always find it admirable when a company who is an industry leader, they're making money hand over fist, they're using some of that money to sow back into community, to help lift people up. And this is basically what you want to allude to if you want to use this answer. So it might sound a little something like this. Ben, why do you want to work at Goldman Sachs? Well, there's a lot of things that are drawing me to Goldman Sachs. But when I was preparing for this interview, I went online, I was on your website, and I read a little bit into what you've done from a community commitment perspective and the $3.5 billion you've contributed since 2008 to help grow small businesses and to sow into the communities that you exist within. I think that's really important. For me, that's something I happen to be passionate about. So I would find it very inspiring to be aligned with an organization that has the same level of commitment. Additionally, I'd be a really good fit because my education and experience has blah, blah, blah. And then you go on to talk about why you'd be a good fit based on your experience and stuff like that. But that's the second answer. One of the things I did while I was answering this is I alluded to the fact that while I was doing my research for this interview, there is not a single hiring manager, recruiter, or HR person out there who doesn't appreciate that you're doing preparation for the interview. So just dropping that in there, letting them know this matters to me, this is something I care about, I'm doing research, and when I was doing my research, I stumbled across blank. It's a great way to elevate yourself as a candidate just a little bit more. The next answer is the environmental sustainability answer. And this is a great answer because Goldman Sachs is actually doing a ton in this space. I read an article in which they are committing to invest and finance $750 billion to accelerate their clients towards a sustainable future by 2030 with all different types of activities, means, strategies, etc. There are a lot of things they're doing, investing, advising, financing, like a huge amount of money to work on sustainability. So it's a really big initiative. And, you know, again, this is one of those things when you've got an industry leader and they have the means to do so or not do so, I find it admirable when they are contributing in that way. So that answer might sound a little bit like this. Ben, why are you interested in working for Goldman Sachs? Well, that's a really good question, and there are a lot of things that I find to be really impressive about Goldman Sachs, but one of the things that I found while I was doing my research is I was reading an article about Goldman Sachs' commitment to environmental sustainability and all the work and investment and advising that you all are doing to help your partners to advise to a more sustainable future by 2030, and I was really impressed. And I didn't realize the breadth of your investment in sustainability. And I consider that to be incredibly important. That's one of my personal values, is that I value sustainability and the way we contribute to that. So seeing that Goldman Sachs does that really drew me to your organization and made me even more excited about pursuing this role. Now, from a role fit perspective, the last 10 years of my career, I've specifically worked in, and then you go on to say, you know, this is what I did, and you'd align yourself to the role, positioning yourself as a great fit. And if you can do that, you're going to do great. Now, the last thing that you're going to need to do when you're interviewing with Goldman Sachs is you're going to want to have great questions to ask the interviewer at the end of the interview. It's a little thing that not enough candidates do, but if you do it, it'll put you over the top as a great candidate. So that video is right here. Go watch it.